All right, what is up, everybody? This is Ferny Ceballos. Welcome to your daily dose of awesome. Let me make sure we are live real quick. There we go. Yes, I see Misha. What's up, Misha?
What's going on, dude? How are you?
Oh, I'm awesome, man. Here, let me put you in the little box so people can see you. All right, guys,
Okay,
welcome
cool.
to your welcome to your daily dose of awesome. Your life, 15 minutes of daily motivation, inspiration, and education, so you can get your day started right. Today's topic, being delivered by the one and only Misha Wilson, is on the psychology behind profitable email marketing. Actually, Misha actually deals with some of the coldest traffic you can possibly get, yet he's able to get it to convert extremely well. And one of his secrets is just his ninja skills with email marketing. So that's what Misha's going to be sharing today here on the Daily Dose of Awesome, your Monday edition, the eve of election night. So before we get started with Misha, my name is Ferny Ceballos. I'm a lead generation online marketing expert specializing in helping home business owners, that includes network marketers, affiliate marketers, and direct sellers, multiply their incomes using the internet. Now, I built my first six-figure network marketing business within a couple years of discovering the information we teach here at Elite Marketing Pro. And over the past 10 years, I've been responsible for over $11 million in gross income into my home businesses and hundreds of millions of dollars more in the incomes of our clients and students, one of which is Misha Wilson, who's also an Invictus member and a six-figure earner in the internet marketing space. Now, if you're new to our training, I highly recommend that you subscribe to our free attraction marketing, online recruiting, and marketing bootcamp. That's linked in the description. That'll basically give you an overview of how it is you actually create a lead generation and prospect generation machine using the internet. Now, also, if you're new to these lives and you'd like to receive notifications every time we post a new live or go live, on the top right corner of your mobile device, on the top right corner of this video, whether you're joining us live or watching a recording, you can actually click the top right corner, a little ellipsis symbol will show up, and that'll allow you to open a menu where you can actually like our fan page, which will unlock all our free content, and also turn on notifications so that you get a little ping on your phone every time we go live, so you can join us every single day here, Monday through Friday, or watch the recording later. Now, if you're on desktop, you simply need to, above the description, click on our logo. That'll take you to our fan page, and on our fan page, click Liked, and then there's a pull-down menu where you can turn on notifications. So make sure you don't miss out on anything we're doing here at EMP. And again, all the content we release on our fan page is absolutely free, no obligation. And as you will see, it is of the highest caliber possible. So with that said, what is up, Misha? How's it going? How's Hawaii?
What's going on, Ferny? How are you, man? It's good, man. Bright and early, but another beautiful day. I can't complain. How you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome, brother. So I'm gonna just kind of shut my trap over here and let you deliver. I know you have some pretty great stuff, and we'll be doing some more training for our community coming up here in the very near future. So I think this is a little precursor that people are gonna really love, especially if you're doing any type of email marketing. So take it away, brother.
Awesome, man. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the training that we're, rolling out over the next couple months, and I appreciate you having me on here. And yeah, cool. So Fernie alluded to it a little bit. One of the things that I've managed to, I think, get pretty proficient with in my business is the art of creating profits and creating revenue from an email list, right? So if you look, not long ago, just a year and a half or about 2.5 years ago now, I was about $10,000 in debt. And because of some awesome mentors like Fernie, I've now built a seven-figure business. And that's what's really cool about the internet marketing world. That's really cool about working with people like Fernie and a guy named Dagan Smith I have to give credit to, because a lot of what I'm about to share with you here today has come from him and having awesome mentors, right? Now, really, like, I would say the two or three things that I've gotten good at, like Fernie said, is getting traffic and then converting that traffic with email marketing with some good offers, right? And today, I want to speak on email marketing because I know for a fact that with the Elite Marketing Pro community, with the level of warm traffic that lots of the affiliates generate, because Fernie teaches awesome traffic strategies, if you guys were to focus really hard on email marketing and getting really good at email marketing, I would guarantee that if you're not currently focusing on it, it would double or, possibly, or not guarantee, virtually guarantee that it would double, triple your bottom line if you're not sending emails the way you could be. And that's a bold promise, but it's literally based on tests that we've done in our own business. So the first thing I'll say is that the biggest question that I get most often is an autoresponder versus a daily broadcast, right? I'm getting all kind of messages here. So let me go ahead and actually close down Facebook. And I'm just going to look at you. There's this little green light on my screen. So the first question I get from most of my students is autoresponders versus daily broadcasts. And people tend to get stuck in the thought process that they want an autoresponder set up with 65, 70 messages that'll go out on autopilot that you set up at once, and it'll just supposedly create ROI over a period of time. And the most effective way, unless you're doing multi-million-dollar launches, unless you're hosting webinars where you're closing, 50, 60 grand every couple of weeks over a webinar, the most effective way to create revenue with your email list, bar none, is daily live broadcasts versus autoresponders, right? So what we personally do in our business is we have a little indoctrination campaign. It's only 5 emails long. So someone opts into our list, they get 5 indoctrination emails, and those are autoresponders. But then after that, they get put on a separate list, and it immediately goes into live daily broadcasts, right? And really why live daily broadcasts are so powerful is because firstly, you can tie in current events, right? So right now, you guys could be talking about the election. I sent an email earlier this morning in regards to, more or less the election and my thought process behind that, and just kind of how I feel with where we're at as a whole with society, right? You can also leave open loops to what's coming next. So it more or less makes it feel like there's an actual human being on the other side of the computer typing the message out to the other person. And that, of course, creates more engagement, which creates more response, right? Now, the best way I've found to create revenue with a list, and this is something that people don't like hearing, or it's something that people don't like implementing, they like hearing, but it's to email 2 times per day. That's the formula for maximum ROI. And it seems really aggressive. It seems kind of, the gut reaction usually is that you can't email that much because you're gonna be pushing too many offers, too much content. You're going to be in front of your audience too much, right? But what you have to realize, and when you implement it effectively, more or less the overall strategy is you treat your email marketing like a talk radio show, right? So if you look at a radio station, they have songs and they have ads, songs and ads, right? And if the song is good enough, when the ad plays, chances are that you won't leave because you want to stay there and you want to stay and listen to the next song, right? And more or less when you email your list twice a day, that's the exact same methodology that you take and apply towards your email marketing. Your AM message, your morning message wants to be content. You want it to be entertainment. You want it to be just really some piece of value that someone will get value out of in order to keep them around through the PM message, which is more or less just a straight sales pitch, right? So the PM message, it's usually 3 to 5 links in an email will get the most clicks. It doesn't need to provide value. It doesn't need to give content. It doesn't need to really do any of the common, attraction marketing. And I love attraction marketing, but it doesn't need to be focused on providing value, solving problems, and really giving back. It's just simply a sales message in order to, once again, get your offer in front of your prospects. And if you write that AM message well enough, if you really put some time and effort and energy into providing value, providing entertainment, providing content, if that's what you like to do, people will stick around through that PM message if they like you. Now, the beauty of it is if they don't like you with your AM message, the chance is that when you send that PM message, they absolutely will unsubscribe, right? But the mindset shift that you need to have is that that's actually a good thing, because if they're not really resonating with your AM message, if they're not really into what you're saying in your AM message, they're not resonating with really your character, and that'll what we'll come to next, behind your overall marketing, chances are that they're never going to buy from you anyway, right? So in sending that second email every single day and sending the 2 emails every single day, you put in place almost like a self-cleaning oven effect with your email list. So instead of having to, purge 10,000 emails a month off of your list, or not that much if you're just kind of getting started, right? That number goes down, people automatically unsubscribe. But the people that wouldn't buy in the first place are the people that unsubscribe. So your list continues to be extremely responsive. you continue to hit the inbox, and you continue to get a high level of engagement with all of your email marketing. Now, what I'll say is that when it comes to AM messages, from tests that we've done in our own personal business, what you want to focus on is entertaining above all else, right? So I like producing content, I like producing how-to content, and I really like training, and I really like doing these, daily dose of awesome calls with you guys. But what I found from personal, just kind of looking at numbers and studying other people's marketing and kind of really taking the time to look at what's working for our own personal business, is that entertainment goes above and beyond content any day of the week, right? So you have to look at the fact that on average, the average American watches anywhere from 6 to 7 hours of TV per day, right? But then on the flip side, the average American reads under 5 books per year. And I actually looked this up last night because I was curious. They read under 5 books per year, and just about 30% of Americans admit to never reading a single book, right? And that's not even, some of those books are fiction. So people aren't focused on necessarily, going after strict content. If you can just be someone who shows up in their email inbox, provides a little bit of kind of an escape from their, daily routine, the truth of the matter is that most people aren't necessarily 100% fulfilled with their lives. They are 100% fulfilled with where they're at, and they're looking for little escapes, and that's why they watch so much TV, and that's why they look for excuses to kind of tune out. If you can just provide a little bit of entertainment to your audience with that AM message, that's kind of the most powerful way to really build a strong bond with your audience. And what I would recommend studying, it's really way too much for me to dive into in this little daily dose of awesome call, but if you can really take the time to learn the art of telling stories with your marketing and just becoming an effective storyteller, while tying in offers to your stories and using the attractive character. So that's another thing that I don't really have the time to go in depth on, but who you are to the marketplace, who your identity is in the marketplace, whether you're the reluctant hero, the leader, the reporter. You need to choose who you are to the marketplace. You need to have your elements. So you need to have your origin story, where you came from. So earlier on this call, I mentioned that, I was $9,755 in debt just a few short years ago with my business. Now we've scaled to the $1 million level. And of course, there were some things in between there and a bunch of trials and a lot of fun and a lot of hard work. But when you perpetuate your origin story throughout your marketing, and you create a sense of us versus them, and you talk about what you stand for and what you stand against, and you really kind of build the actual character behind your marketing versus just focusing on the content that you're providing. The content that you provide is much more powerful because people will receive it more. So what I would argue is that while content is extremely powerful, while content gets attention, that's what content's really there to do in your marketing. It's there to get attention, right? And so on the flip side, if you were to look at the 30 emails that get sent to your email inbox every day, right? Most of those emails will be giving you content, or a high percentage of those emails, if marketers behind them are, know what they're doing and they're actually sending high value marketing, it'll be content. The few emails that you open will be the emails that you resonate with the character behind the content, right? So I have a couple people emails that I open every single day, no matter what the subject line is, no matter what the first sentence of the actual email is, that of course kind of you can read in your email inbox, right? I opened it based on who it's actually being sent from and the character who actually wrote it. So take the time to study the attractive character, take the time to actually sit down and craft your character. And once again, it's much too long of a topic to dive into right now. But look up, I would say, Russell Brunson, the attractive character. He's got really good training on it. John Alanis has got really good training on it. Once again, Dagan Smith has got really good training on it. And it'll be really one of the kind of best investments that you can really make in your business. Now, having said that, when you're emailing twice a day, when you're using the attractive character, you'll get a high level of engagement with your list. Your opens will be high, your clicks should be high, especially if you're sending 3 to 5 links in that second PM email message every single day. You'll have a high level of engagement. And from there, one of the kind of hidden profit triggers that most people don't tap into with their marketing are segments, right? So you have to understand that you shouldn't market the same way to everybody on your list. You can some of the time, like you could send out a daily broadcast to your entire email list, right? But then you should also have different segments of your list that you speak to in different ways, because certain people are going to buy for one reason and certain people are going to buy for another reason, right? So as an example, you have the person who will buy based on a promotion or a sale going on. So you should have a segment of your list that you actually flag for sale, you know. So if you have a product, you have a service, and you want to give a flash sale of 50% off, send people to a capture page, tell them that you're doing a sale, get people to opt in on that capture page, create that different segment of your list of people who are actually raising their hand, telling you that they're most likely to buy based on a sale taking place, right? On the flip side, you have a premium buyer. So you have people who will more or less spend more money intentionally, because it's kind of more or less an egotistical buy, because they kind of feel like if they spend more money, they're going to be not only more important, but they're also going to be treated better than the next person, right? And you have premium buyers that, as an example, I know there's a bunch of Elite Marketing Pro members on here watching. You could send the Elite Marketing Pro annual offer to, send it directly to them, create a context around it where there's a reason that you're sending the actual premium offer. You know, this isn't for everybody. This is for people who are looking for more of a shortcut, who are willing to invest in their business and actually, you know, move forward more quickly, get personal coaching, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and maybe throw in some bonuses, right? So one of the things that every single affiliate should be doing, and one of the things that will propel your business to the next level if you're not doing, especially with your email marketing, is providing bonuses, right? So you can very easily, if you don't have your own product, and I know a lot of you don't, so that's probably going through your mind right now, but if you don't have your own product, if you don't have your own service, you can't do a sale, what you can do is you can give 6 bonuses away, and that's your sale, right? So maybe for the first couple of times, the first couple of emails that someone opts into your list, you're providing bonuses, you're giving away bonuses, and then they go away, right? You have scarcity around those bonuses. You know, 2 months later, you can do a sale of your bonuses, where if they get started with the $1 trial, if they get started with the Elite Marketing Pro annual membership, etc., you'll give a flash sale of your bonuses. And once again, segment those people, speak to them as people who are more likely to buy when sales actually occur, right? The next segment that I would highly recommend focusing on are customers, right? So the general, I think, consensus in the marketplace is that the best way to increase response with your list is to send content and to provide value. And you absolutely should be sending content and providing value and doing all of those things, because those do create response. Those do, you know, create goodwill with your list. Those do get attention, like I talked about earlier, those pieces of content. But on the flip side, the best way to create a more responsive email list is to get more buyers onto your list, right? So to actually sell more aggressively to your list, create more buyers on that list, because as Dan Kennedy says, a buyer is a buyer is a buyer is a buyer, right? Once you get someone to buy one time, even if it's only for one single dollar, they're more likely to buy. They're 10 times more likely to buy moving forward in the future, right? So as an example, if you have a big email list, but you can't get anybody to buy Elite Marketing Pro, and it's really frustrating you, right? If you have something else that you can offer, not another business system, not another opportunity, right? Because you're obviously there to promote Elite Marketing Pro. But if you have, you know, a $3 traffic widget or a plugin or something that's really working for your business, and you take it and you mail it out to those customers, to your email list, and let's say you have 10 people purchase that $3 traffic widget or that optimized press plugin or whatever you're using in your business that's really helping you move forward, right? It's a tiny little action, it's a small little action, right? But based on the fact that they've now taken their credit card out and purchased, those people are going to be the people who are most likely to once again take that action and then purchase Elite Marketing Pro moving forward, right? So one thing you need to realize is that a buyer is a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. And instead of focusing on providing more content, providing more value, you know, sending out more how-to kind of training videos, etc., because I've done all of that, and I actually built an email list up to about 10,000 people at one point, and was struggling to make a single sale from that email list, even literally just get a couple of clicks, something that you guys will hear about pretty soon with the next kind of piece of training that I'm doing with the Elite Marketing Pro community. But it was all based on the fact that instead of creating response, going after creating buyers, going after actually selling to that list and actually creating buyers and then following up those buyers in a different way, I was simply sending more how-to content, and it looked like more noise in their email inbox, and they tuned me out. So that absolutely can happen, right? The last two segments that I'll touch on, because I know I only have a couple of minutes here, are opens and clicks, right? So the people who click your emails, that's an engagement. And once again, if they're clicking your AM emails, they open an email, if they click over to your blog, if they click over to a YouTube video, something of that sort, those are the people who you can aggressively sell to, right? They're in your world, they're engaged in your world, they like what you have to say, especially if they've opened, they clicked, and they didn't opt out, right? Those are the people who you can then aggressively sell to, send the dollar trial to, send the AMF sales message to, send the premium offer to with 5, flash sale bonuses, etc. Those are the people who are most likely to then take that action and purchase moving forward. With opens, what I like to do on my list, so these are people who have opened an email but then haven't clicked a link in that email. What I like to do is I like to focus on more or less engaging them by asking them a question and kind of creating a scenario where it's really, really, really easy for them to engage. So maybe that's creating, one question survey. What's your biggest, what's the thing that's holding you back most in your business, and give 4 different options and have one of those options pre-checked. So it's completely and totally effortless for them to take that action and to engage, right? The sole goal of your marketing to those open should be to get them to engage, to get them to click, to get them to take an action, because then once again, the law of commitment and consistency, once you can get someone to take small action, there's going to be a much better chance they'll actually continue to take more and more and more and more actions moving forward down the line. So really, it's one of those things where I could spend hours on going into effective email marketing, and again, building out your attractive character. The Howard Stern effect is something else we could touch on really quick. And if we look, right now with current news with Donald Trump, me and Ferny were talking about it a moment ago with the election and kind of how crazy this whole thing has been over the last month, right? Donald Trump is an expert when it comes to getting attention. And one of the reasons he's an expert at getting attention is because he doesn't care whether or not people hate him, right? He'll say the most ridiculous, just completely and totally outlandish stuff. Whether you love him or you hate him, that's not the question. The fact is that you either love him or you hate him. You don't stand in the middle with him, and creating that polarization, being okay with people having a strong view about you, whether they love you or they hate you, is something that once again will give you more attention. And that once again circles back to the attractive character, right? But that's really what I wanted to share with you today. Firstly, focus on daily broadcasts versus a bunch of autoresponder messages. If you just focus on that, if you just take action on that one lesson, if you especially get out of your comfort zone, because I know right when I say to send 2 emails a day, there's some gut reaction that tells you not to do it, right? Or at least for 90% of the people, the students that I've worked with, that's what tends to happen. If you can overcome that gut reaction and actually send twice a day, just as a test, do it for 30 days, right? Make that second email just a straight up sales pitch, send, 3 to 5 links in that message, and look at what happens with engagement. Look at what happens with clicks. Look at what happens with open rates. Look at what happens with actual sales, right? So if you can focus on that first, secondly, you can focus on actually crafting the character. So start studying the attractive character, start studying how to actually build a character that you perpetuate through all of your various pieces of marketing, your webinars, your emails, your videos, everything you do, your daily dose of awesome calls when Ferny has you on these calls, right? That character should be perpetuated through all of your marketing. And then last, when you're using those 2 things, you'll find that your email list gets much more responsive when you, of course, are integrating the attractive character and sending it very consistently. From there, focus on segments, all right? So focus on finding the people who will buy based on a sale, finding the people who will buy based on a premium offer, getting people to click, selling aggressively to those clickers, getting people to open, getting those opens to engage by asking them a question, by creating some type of scenario where it's extremely effortless for them to engage. And you'll find that your email open rates go up, your engagement goes up, your clicks go up, and in general, your list gets more responsive, which means that long term, you have an asset that you can more or less tap into on demand and create profits with. So I could go longer, Ferny, but I don't know. I think we're already about 10 minutes over. How we doing, man?
I'm good, brother. You hear me?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear.
Awesome, brother. Yeah, I think that's good, man. We obviously we're going to continue this conversation. This is kind of just getting started, but what you were talking about just reminded me of a book I just got from Ben Settle. It's right here. Do you get this one yet?
Which one was it?
It's Persuasion Secrets of the World's Most Charismatic and Influential Villains.
Okay, I did not get it. No, I'm on his email list, so I've seen his promotions.
Yeah,
I have his email players newsletter, which is another really awesome.
So he just released
resource.
this. It's pretty hilarious, but also offers a lot of lesson in terms of copywriting and creating that attractive character. And that attractive character, I mean, as Misha mentioned with, like, say, the Trump character, it can be a villain. It can be somebody that just doesn't, creates polarization. And he has some cool chapters. He talks about the Joker, and why the Joker is such a impactful character, and why even at depending on what comic book or version you're reading, sometimes even people root for the Joker, and so it's pretty awesome stuff. So really appreciate you being here, man. That was killer content. I mean, there's actually a lot in what you just unpacked that we need to revisit at EMP and make sure we're doing everything we can to monetize our email list. But I think that's a great start, man, and I think we'll have you back in the next couple weeks again so we can continue this conversation, and then also make a big announcement on some stuff we're working on together. So.
Yeah. Hey, I'm looking forward to it, man, and thank you for having me on here. I'll hop on whenever you need me, and it's always fun to get on and give some value to a community that's obviously done so much for me. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
All right, brother. Well, that's a wrap, guys. Again, if you're in the home business industry and want to get a more comprehensive overview of everything we do and how we actually generate hundreds of leads every single day for our businesses, the link is in the description. Sign up. You'll get a 10-day video course that walks you through everything Misha talked about and much more. So we'll be back soon. Take care, everybody. Have an awesome day.